morning, Evanport family, and happy Monday. It's Miss Salzik here with your first story time of the week. I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you got some rest and some relaxation, and you got outside and got some fresh air and some exercise, even though it was really windy this weekend and there were with those tornado warnings on Saturday. I hope everybody's safe and well from that and that your houses are safe. That was a little scary. But this morning it started off beautifully. The sun is shining and it's going to be a great week. So this week I'm reading stories that celebrate different cultures, maybe different like clothing or different stories or different mythologies from other cultures. So today's story is called La Princesa and the Pea. So the Princess and the Pea. And the Princess and the Pea is kind of an old fairy tale. You might have heard it before. It's about a queen who doesn't want her son to marry at all. She wants to keep him for herself forever. But he falls in love with a maiden. And so the queen decides that to really determine if that girl is good enough for her son, if she's a real princess, then she would be able to fill a pea underneath her mattress. So the queen finds a tiny pea and then she makes the princess sleep on a bunch of mattresses, and the queen believes that if the girl is really a true princess and worthy of her son, she won't get any sleep because she'll feel that pea, even though it's so tiny. So I guess it's because like the girl is so delicate and so refined that she can't even sleep with a pea underneath her mattress. So that's the test the queen uses to determine if the princess is good enough for her prince or not. So the queen has a trick up her sleeve. She's gonna try to trick the princess, the girl, into going to sleep and then not being worthy of her son. But the prince, El Príncipe, just might have a trick up his sleeve too. So we'll see what that is. And to celebrate diversity, in this book, the author puts a Peruvian spin on the fairy tale. And Peru is a beautiful country at the bottom of South America. There's beautiful mountains and lakes. I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go because the scenery is gorgeous. And the author also uses elements from Peru, like the beautiful clothing that you'll see the characters wearing throughout the book, and the beautiful textiles like the mattresses and the blankets. They have beautiful woven like blankets and mattresses and dresses and scarves and shawls and beautiful hats that the people of Peru wear, and that you'll see that all throughout the book. You'll also see a lot of guinea pigs because guinea pigs are really popular in Peru. And so keep an eye out for the guinea pigs throughout the story too, because they're always there, but you have to kind of look for them. And then one of my favorite characters who never speaks at all is the queen's cat. He never looks happy. She always kind of, or he, she, I'm not sure, but she always looks like the queen, a little grumpy, and she's always like trying to keep an eye out on the princess to make sure that she doesn't win the prince over. So I love seeing the cat and the guinea pigs. All right, so let's find out who wins in this battle of getting married, the queen who doesn't want her son to get married, or the prince who falls in love and desperately wants to marry the girl. We'll see whose trick wins. Here we go. La Princesa and the Pea by Susan Middleton Elia and illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. There once was a prince who wanted a wife, but not any niña would do in his life. His madre was picky. She hoped for perfection. The prince was so lonely, in need of affection. But here came a maiden, en route to her castle. I hope I can stay here if it's not a hassle. She winked at the prince, who fell for her fast. No matter what Mom says, I'll marry this lass. The prince said, come in, but his mother, La Reina, decided to test her. Would this girl be buena? Mama sneaked away to the royal jardín and found a small pea that was fit for a queen. So, the son, El Príncipe, has finally fallen in love with a girl See there, he sees her riding on her burro, and he kind of falls in love at first sight. And the queen is not happy about it. Remember, she spent the story so far trying to get rid of all the girls that comes into the prince's life because she wants to keep them for herself. But the prince decides that he's going to marry this lass. And so the queen, to try to trick the princess into not being worthy, finds a small pea. What does it say? Mama sneaked away to the royal jardin, that is a garden, and found a small pea that was fit for a queen. So we've got to decide or figure out what she's gonna do with that small pea. And if you know the story of the princess and the pea, you'll know what she's gonna do. But let's keep reading. She guarded the pea pod and took to the stair. If this girl is worthy, she'll feel that it's there. She placed El Guisante in the bed for their guest. She yelled, "Viente mattresses," lofty request. The queen settled in with her box of bombones, with lots of strong workers came in with colchones. Uno was suave, dos was pequeño, tres was muy grande, cuatro, un sueño. Several were pinstriped, some made of fleece, others were dotted or checkered or greased. The queen ate her treats, the bed was stacked high, and right when they finished, La Niña came by. "Here is your cama, a place where you can sleep." "Thanks," said the girl, "I won't even count sheep." Meanwhile, El Principe practiced I do's. He knew that this maiden was one he should choose. "I like her, Mama," he said with a lilt. "We'll see," said the queen as she fluffed up his quilt. So, the queen puts her son to sleep, which I think is funny, even though he's a grown man, she's still putting him to sleep. And meanwhile, she set kind of a trap for the princess. So remember, she had all of those mattresses brought in with all different colors and textures. And then she piles them up high and she puts the pea. You see the pea right there. She puts the tiny pea under the bottom mattress. And she believes that if the princess is a real princess, if she is worthy of the prince, that even though it's a tiny pea and she's sleeping on all those mattresses, she will feel the pea at night and not be able to sleep. So that's her trick, that if the princess does sleep, then she's not worthy of the prince. But if she doesn't sleep, then she is worthy. She's a true princess because she felt that small pea. And then, of course, as I said, there's the kitty keeping a watch out. I think is hilarious, and the guinea pigs too. So we've got to find out if the princess is going to have a good night's sleep or is she going to be awake all night? What do you think? You think you'd feel that pea under all those 20 mattresses if you slept on it? Let's find out. The girl stretched her brazos and yawned with her boca, but the bed felt so lumpy, like there was a roca. The little guisante was 20 times deep. Could it be the reason the girl got no sleep? She trudged down to breakfast, her ojos so droopy. "And how was your slumber?" La Reina was snoopy. "Great," said the girl, "if you like hard and lumpy." "Oh, pobrecita," the prince said, "you're grumpy." Their guest brightened up as she noticed the lad. "Really," she murmured, "it wasn't that bad." "Ay," thought La Reina, "how'd she detect it? Is she a real princess? I think I suspect it." She signaled her son that the girl passed the test. Drat, she had managed to stave off the rest. The prince soon proposed with the golden anillo. They married that week in the royal castillo. The queen kept her promise and threw a big boda. The bride wore a wedding gown, stylish, de moda. Accepto, accepto, they both said, I do. And still to this day, the queen has no clue. The prince had put pitchforks and stones in La Cama to help his true love pass the test of Queen Mama. The prince and his bride had hijos galore, one for each mattress, and then had no more. So, the princess did sleep horribly that night. See, she woke up. It said once she slept, she got no sleep. And then she woke up the next morning and she was groggy and tired, and the queen knew that she was a true princess and that she was worthy. So she let her son marry the princess. This is one of my favorite illustrations. The queen is not happy that she has to let her son marry, and her kitty's not happy either. And they look a lot alike, which I think is funny. So she let the two get married, and they said, accepto, accepto, I do and I do. And the prince and his bride had hijos galore. They had so many children, one for every mattress. Do you remember how many mattresses there were? 20. They had 20 children. Yikes. But apparently the queen loves it. I guess they keep her busy, so she doesn't miss her son as much anymore. So did you catch what the prince's trick was? So the mom, the queen, thought she was the one tricking the girl. But we find out, where is it? The prince had put pitchforks and stones in La Cama, in the bed, to help his true love pass the test. So not only was she sleeping on the pea, but the prince had tricked his mom, and he had put pitchforks and stones in the bed just to make sure that the princess would not sleep. So he knew what his mom, the queen, was up to, and he used his own trick in return to get the princess to be able to marry him. So I really love this story, and I love that the authors put a good Peruvian twist on it to get an idea about other cultures and what other people in different places look like and dress like and act like and feel like. And I've always wanted to go to Peru, so this is just a little piece of it. And I love the illustrations. I think they're beautiful. And of course, it's a good fairy tale because the prince wins out in the end and is able to marry his princess despite his mom's tricks. I hope you have a great Monday, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.